بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. Now we're moving on to Al-Am. What does Am mean? We mentioned before. Al-Am, so we have Usool al-Shashi, we have Al-Bahth al-Awwal fi Kitabillah, then we have Al-Bahth al-Awwal fi Sunnati Rasulillah, Al-Bahth al-Thalith fi al-Ijma, Al-Bahth al-Rabi' fi al-Qiyas, and Al-Khatimah, I made that up, has some other stuff at the end, miscellaneous rules. Then we have Taqseem al-Awwal. I said regarding Kitabullah, we're going to look at our words from different angles. And one of the angles is based on whether it's khas or am. We'll add on as we go along. We then khas before, now moving on to am. Khas and am are words that both have known meanings. Khas and am, what do they have? They both have known meanings. The difference is the khas refers to a particular one individual thing. Zaid or insan or rajul, that we know the meaning. And am, we look at many afrad. Correct? So we have here, wa ammal am. Wa ammal am. As for am. As for so we're saying here, as for am, and what's the definition that came before? Al-amu kullu lafdhin yantadhimu jam'an min al-afrad. This definition came before. An am is every word that comprises, intadhama yantadhimu, comprises of a group of things. So am has what? Multiple members. And a khas is not looking at it as members, it's looking at it as a individual, like a whole, a group. Like one person, or one group of things, or one genus of things, one genus of things. Okay? Now how do you get am? Like, it's not in the book, this is away from the book. So what word gives am? Like kullu. So wa'lamu anna Allah bi kulli shay'in alim. Correct? So now, if a person says Allah knows everything except one thing, is he a believer or is he not a believer? Well, why? Because it's qat'iyyu thubut, and the word kullu, am, the meaning of kullu is qat'iyyu dalala as well. So kullu is one word that gives the meaning of am. Another word that gives the meaning of am is al-jam'u al-mu'arraf bilam al-istighraq. If you have alif lam, and that alif lam is for istighraq, then it also gives the meaning of am. قَدْ أَفْلَهَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. So alif lam means all, this is istighraq. So all believers are successful. And alladhina hum fi salatin, that's going on. Yes, if you have a word, so if it's plural, with alif lam on it, that's going to be am. If you have a single, it's got istighraq. Innal insana lafi khusr. All human beings are in loss, illa alladhina amanu. You following? This is also am. Correct? So if it's plural or singular with alif lam for istighraq at the beginning, that makes it am. Another example, if it's jama' and it's mudaf. Yusikum Allahu fi awladikum. Yusikum Allah fi awladikum. Regarding all of your children. Correct? Yusikum Allah fi awladikum. That's also going to be am. Ismul Mawsool. That also gives a am meaning. Inna alladhina ya'kuluna fi butuni. Inna alladhina ya'kuluna amwal al-yatama. So, alladhina, every single person who does this quality. This is am, Mawsool. Unless it's qareen that show that it's not. Okay? Or shar. Man shahida minkum ash-shahra. Whosoever, every single person, whosoever sees the month, witnesses the month of Ramadan, he has to fast in this month of Ramadan. So these are some words which give an am meaning. So am means a word which has multiple members. So man, every single person is included in this, every single believer. Then alladhina ya'kuluna amwal al-yatama, that's also am. And the other examples we give. These are examples of how am is formed. Yes? Now what's the ruling of another one example is an-nakira fi siyaqin nafy bin-nahy. If you have a nakira word, and a nakira word comes in a negative context, either by nafi or by nahi. So, la wasiyyata li warithin. This makes it negative. This is nafi. There is no wasiyya. And warithin is what? Nakira. So, no inheritor whatsoever can begin wasiyya. So, if, for example, you want to give wasiyya that after I die, so and so will get X amount of money. Can you give it to any warith? Whether it's a wife, whether it's a son, whether it's a daughter, you can't bequest for them. Why? Because they already have their fixture. So la wasiyata li warithin. Warithin is what here? It's singular, but what is it going to be? This is am. Yes? Fahim? Acha. Okay. Wa ammal amu fa naw'an. So you understand? You got it? Understood? So we did definition before. In khas, he brought the word am definition there. So am is every word that includes a group of people. And we've done a few examples which sigha shows the meaning of am. Now we're saying, well, what are the types of am? What are the types of am? There are two types of am. One from Pakistan and one from India. No? What does aam mean in Urdu? Mangoes. Sorry, that's a lame joke, but I couldn't help myself. There are two types of aam. Do you get mangoes in Houston? Right, so back to class. فَأَمَّا الْعَامُ فَنَوْعَانِ. There are two types of aam. What are they? There are two types of aam. Okay? عَامٌ خُصَّ عَنْهُ الْبَعْضِ. That aam from which certain members have been removed. وَعَامٌ لَمْ يُخَصَّ عَنْهُ شَيْءٌ. That aam from which no member has been removed. Yes, so aam which is still aam. For example, إِنَّ اللَّهَ بِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ عَلِيمٌ is an aam. So we say aam خُصَّ عَنْهُ الْبَعْضِ because you can call it مَخْصُوصٌ عَنْهُ. مَخْصُوصٌ عَنْهُ. Another way of saying it. Or غَيْر مَخْصُوصٍ عَنْهُ. Yes, so مَخْصُوصٌ عَنْهُ and غَيْر مَخْصُوص عَنْهُ. So you have an aam. So إِنَّ اللَّهَ بِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ عَلِيمٌ. Is that مخصوص عنه or غير مخصوص عنه؟ غير مخصوص عنه. فَمَنْ شَهِدَ مِنْكُمُ الشَّهْرَ فَلْيَصُمْهُ. Is it غير مخصوص? Depends on, I guess so. Is nobody exempt from fasting? But then you say the qadha. They do qadha of it. But you understand. Yes, so you have some, okay. So this is what we have here. We have العام غير المخصوص عنه أي لم يخص عنه شيء. المخصوص عنه أي خص عنه البعض. Some have been removed. The ruling according to the Ahnaf is that if you have a situation like this, if it's غير مخصوص عنه, what is it? غير مخصوص عنه, then what does it become? It becomes قطعي الدلالة, meaning it includes every single member, and every single member is included قطعا. You cannot remove any. You can't remove it by a weak dalil, i.e. القياس or خبر واحد. But if one member has already been excluded, you kind of broken the strength of that qat'i. So now become what dhanniyu dalala. Are you following? A simple example is if I say everybody must write the exams in within 1 hour. So now there's no reason to exempt anybody. So why do you think we're exempted? Let me say, okay, Abdullah, you can take 1 hour, 1.5 hours. So you might think, well, if he's been exempted, let me see if I can be exempted as well. There must be a reason why he's exempted. Maybe the rule is not so hard and fast. Get the logic behind it. So if it's غير مخصوص عنه, it's قطعي الدلالة. If it's مخصوص عنه, then it becomes what? ظني الدلالة. And we go through some examples tomorrow. Inshallah. Subhanallah wa bihamdi. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika. Wa nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulihil kareem. So in last lesson, we explained regarding the am. So just as khas is qat'i dalala, am has two types. Am مخصوص عنه, or am خص عنه البعض, or am غير مخصوص أي لم يخص عنه شيء. So what did we say? If it's غير مخصوص, it's غير مخصوص أي لم يخص عنه شيء. It remains قطعي. So we're saying here فهو. Which am is this? العام الذي لم يخص عنه شيء. There's no reason for us to assume anything but the قطعية. Are you following? This is Hanafi dalil. This is Hanafi perspective. Imam Shafi rahmatullah alayhi, he doesn't think it's qat'i am. Because every am has mustasnayat. So you say that whenever you have an am, it's very unlikely, or there's many am, most am have some kind of exceptions. So according to him, you don't need a strong evidence to make a takhsis. Okay, so but this is our dalil. We say here, فَهُوَ, that am from which anything or nothing has been removed or exempted, في حق لزوم العمل لا محالة. Yes, meaning what? It is the qat'i dalala. This is what this text means. So it is in the same level as a khas in regards to having to do amal upon it without any la mahala necessarily. It means qat'i dalala. If it's an in aqidah, بِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ alim. So you have to believe every single thing is in Allah's knowledge. Because qat'i. If it's an amal, like for example, كُلُّ الطَّعَامِ كَانَ حِلًّا لِبَنِي إِسْرَائِيلِ. But that's what? إِلَّا مَا حَرَّمَ إِسْرَائِيلُ عَلَى نَفْسِهِ. That's am, but خُصَّنْهُ الْبَعْض. But anything that is am, in aqidah you have to believe in it. Anything that is an amal, you have to do amal upon it. This is a ruling regarding the am. Okay? Now based upon this, we say, so the am. وَعَلَى هَذَا قُلْنَا إِذَا قُطِئَ يَدُ السَّارِقِ. When the hand of a sariq, is it قُطِئَ in yours book? When the hand of a theft is stolen, and again you have to look at this in you can't just look at one masala. You have to look at the ruling of qat'ul yad in everything. You're following? If you read any one text just on its own without the full understanding of how the whole religion works, everything is I feel like, for example, you can even say, for example, you have rulings regarding a particular law is very strict. We say, well, if you look into, let's take a new perspective, a non-Muslim perspective, you say, well, you have certain laws which the United Nations also think is violation of human rights, which is a terrorist threat. So therefore, we're violating that right. So if you look at that law on its own, you will say the United Nations thinks it's a violation of human rights. But then you say, we know more because we have certain rules and certain problems in our country. So we look at one masala, one ruling, so you're cutting the hand of a theft off. It's so many rulings, and this is a particular context, in certain scenarios, certain places. Like for example, if it's a small amount, it presents extreme poverty. So it's all different. If there's a famine in that time, so it's all different rules. But anyways, it's not time for us to explain this. But the fiqh ruling is that if it's a Muslim country and everybody, this is the law, the hand of a sadiq is cut off. What's the Quranic verse? As-Sadiqu was-Sadiqatu. That a male or a female who steals with all its conditions, فَقْتَأُوا أَيْدِيَهُمَا, then their hands will be cut off. Okay? Why? جَزَاءً بِمَا كَسَبَا. This is a punishment or recompense for what they have done. What is it going to be? A punishment for what they have earned, what they have done. Okay? Now, here, we have sadiqah. Okay? And then we have qat'un. So the Quran says, the Quranic verse says that qat'ul yad faqta'u aydiyahuma is a jaza bima. The word ma is what? Everything. So the qat'ul yad is an equal, is a recompense for everything that they have done. Are you following me? So when you do qat'ul yad, that means that everything that they have done has been what? What has it been done? It has been, the punishment has been taken place, and that's it. Yes? If we say that along with qat'ul yad, if the thing that was stolen has been destroyed, you have to give recompense. What do you have to do? You have to give recompense. You have to pay, what do you call it? Like compensation. You have to pay compensation. Yes? In this scenario, what will happen? We were saying now, the qat and the dhiman are for the sadiqah. But the Quran says that the sadiqah is a punishment for everything he has done. So sadiqah alone should be a recompense. Because what? فَقْتَأُ. So the masdar is qat'un. So al-qat'u jaza'un lima kasaba. So the qat is a recompense for everything they have done. You can't add anything else. If not, that would mean what? We're saying what? Al-qat'u jaza'un li ba'dhi ma kasaba. Now the arm has now been changed. You following? Do you understand what the masla is? So we're saying here, ala hadha, based on the fact that ma is it is qat'i, therefore you have to have extremely strong evidence to break the qat'iyya of the ma. Because is qat'iyyu dalala. So this means that the Quranic verse indicates clearly that the qat'ul yad is the entire punishment for the theft. To add something on would mean that you're negating the in ma. And that would mean that the qat'ul yad is only a part of the punishment. There's other punishments as well. Does everybody understand this? So therefore we say here, جَزَاءً بِمَا كَسَبَا لِأَنَّ الْقَطْءَ جَزَاءُ جَمِيعِ مَا اكْتَسَبَهُ. Because qat'ul yad is a recompense for everything that he has earned or she has done. Because ama is what? Following? So let's say, we're saying here, so وَبَعْدَ مَا هَلَكَ الْمَسْرُوقِ بَعْدَ مَا هَلَكَ الْمَسْرُوقِ. After the masruq, the stolen item has been destroyed. لا يجب عليه الضمان. Dhiman does not become compulsory. Dhiman does not become compulsory. That means the item has been damaged, you have to pay compensation. If we make compensation necessary, now we have two punishments, qat'ul yad and dhiman become the punishment for sadiqah. Whilst the Quran clearly states that qat'ul yad is a total punishment for everything that's happened. So there's no dhiman. If it's not been destroyed, it gives back to the ownership, will go back to the person. But if it has been destroyed, then there's no compensation. Because why? لأن القطع جزاء جميع ما اكتسبه. Because cutting the hand off is a recompense for everything that they have done. فهمت؟ فإن كلمة ما عامة. Because the word ma is عام, تتناول, it includes جميع ما وجد من السارق. It encompasses everything that has been found from the sariq. So whatever the Sadiq has done, everything it becomes included in the qat. So his theft and his destroying the masruq, everything is included in the sadiqah, in the qat'ul yad. فهمت؟ وبتقدير إيجاب ضمان. If under assumption, under assumption or the presumption or on obligating ضمان, yes, يكون الجزاء هو المجموع. What becomes the jaza? Both things put together, the qat'ul yad and also the what? And the ziman. So therefore we say here, that's against the arm of ma. And the ma is qat'i, so therefore we will not make ziman or compensation necessary. Everybody following? Any questions? Okay. وَلَا يُتْرَكُ الْأَمَلُ. What's the rule? The same way khas is qat'i الدلالة. You don't leave the khas because of a khabar wahid or a qiyas. Similarly, this am, you will not leave the am because of a qiyas. What's the qiyas? That we know the F side is ghasab. Ghasab is snatching something. What's ghasab? Snatching. If you take somebody's property, not theft, like secretly stealing it, but openly just grab it and just take it. What's the ruling in that situation? If it's still the maqsoob, the thing that has been taken, if it remains intact, you have to return it. If it's damaged, you have to give what? Compensation. So the qiyas would be in ghasab, in this taking something, snatching, not theft, secret theft, not in theft. But if in ghasab you have to give dhiman of a maqsoob, which is halik, then obviously in sadiqa you should also have to give the dhiman. So yes, the qiyas is trying to make sense, but the qiyas goes against the arm of ma. So therefore we leave the qiyas in favor of the arm of the Quran. This is how the Ahnaf look at this word. Understood? Now here, so that's example number one. Now in the next text, we're not going through a mithal. We're going through a dalil that the Ahnaf and that the Fuqaha say that arm is ma, that ma is arm. Yes? So he's giving one example. So as I said before, a lot of the examples in this book are technical. Because they say, well look, because you were done in Hidayah already, that Imam Muhammad, the Ahnaf, they used to have the council of jurists, they would write things down, and Imam Muhammad rahmatullah alayhi's books, a lot of them then wrote the masail down, which they all agreed upon. So many ulama agreed upon this masala. So it's like a semi-ijma, or the ijma of Ahlul Kufa, kind of almost. So ulama of Kufa agree on this masala. So that becomes like a canon, and we go by this. This is what they all agreed upon. So there's a masala they all agreed upon, which denotes what we're saying here. So what's the example? What's the fiqh ruling that they discuss in the Imam Muhammad has mentioned? He says, وَالدَّلِيلُ عَلَىٰ أَنَّ كَلِمَةَ مَا. The evidence that ma is am is what Imam Muhammad rahmatullah has mentioned in his book. I'm not sure which book it is, probably one of the Jami Saghir or Kabir, one of those books. So in this mention, which means Imam Muhammad mentions it, it means that all the fuqaha, Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullah, his council, what did they all do? They all agreed upon this. So that they all have an ijma that ma is am. And how do we know this? Look, the masla is, إِذَا قَالَ الْمَوْلَى لِجَارِيَتِهِ. Situation. If a person says to his slave girl, yes, what does he say? إِن كَانَ مَا فِي بَطْنِكَ غُلَامًا. So ma fi batnika ghulam. This ma is what? What's this ma? If what is in your stomach is what? In kana ma fi batnik. What is in your stomach? Means she becomes pregnant. I said, if you give birth to a boy, I'm going to free you. He wants a boy. Well, this is an example, hypothetical. Forget the reason. Even some of these rules, why? This is hypothetical rules. Yes, it's like the layman will understand, but the ulama maybe have already discussed what happens when you go to the moon. Where's the qibla? For you, it doesn't make any difference. Or hypothetically, if for example, you can discuss hypothetical situations just to understand the masala. So for layman, it's useless. There's one masala that somebody asked a question to Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullah alayhi. He goes, has this happened? He goes, no. So why are you asking this question for? He said, we prepare for masa'ib before they occur, or manawazil before they occur. So when it does occur, we know what the answer is. So even this question here, like, what's the rationale behind it? It doesn't matter. We want to understand the principle. The principle is, if a person was to say to his slave girl, even his wife, if you give birth to a girl, or for example, stupidly, like some people don't like girls, if he's angry, he said, if you give birth, in kana ma fi batnika jariyatan, fa anti taliq. Shouldn't do that, but he said that for example. Some people have that thing. We should appreciate all. Yes? The Prophet ﷺ had 4 daughters, and none of his sons survived. Yes, for Allah chose for the Prophet ﷺ, it was good. Khair. But anyway, so if he says something like this, what will happen? So ma is what am. That's why they say, فولدت غلاما وجارية. She gives birth to twins. And one is a girl and one is a boy. So is ما في بطنها غلاما? Well, one was ghulam, one was a boy, one was a girl. So everything in her stomach was not a boy. What was it? Stomach meaning in her womb. So the Muslim, listen, no, she won't be free. Why? Because the ma is am. Ma means if everything that is in your womb is male, everything meaning every child that's in your womb is male, then you are free. She gave birth to a boy and a girl, she will not be free. The master should have the decency to say, well, I'll free you anyways. But in terms of the law is that ma fi batniha was not ghulam. Ba'du ma fi batniha was ghulam. So in this mas'ala, based on this text, she would not be free. Or if you said that about a woman, talaq, she would not be mutallaqa. Because ma is am. So this mas'ala is mentioned in the books. All the fuqaha agreed upon this, which means that they consider the word ma to be am. This is the dalil that ma is am. Everybody understand? Okay, so we had example number 1, dalil that ma is am, and then example number 3. وبمثله نقول في قوله تعالى فاقرؤوا ما تيسر من القرآن. And based on this, we will say regarding the Quranic verse, فاقرؤوا, read whatever is easy for you. So whichever part of the Quran is easy for you, we can read this. Yes? So in Salah, what is for us miqdar? ما تيسر من القرآن. Whatever is تيسر, easy. فإنه عام في جميع ما تيسر من القرآن. The word ma is am to encompass any part of the Quran which is easily recitable for the person who is doing tilawah, the musalli. Correct? Now here there's a ishkal, and there's many other questions as well, but we're not going to go through all of that. Simply is that ma is am. And ma can mean any or every. And we know it's not every from ijma. You don't have to read the entire Quran. Everything you know, you don't have to say everything you know in the Quran. That would mean that every time you perform salah, you have to read the whole Quran. So we know it's not every. What does it mean? Any. And then how do we get that? There's other rulings and there's ishkal and jawab. But for now, simply, mahi means any. So read any part of the Quran that is easy for you. If you say no, you have to read this amount. What are we now breaking? The am. Am is what? Qat'i dalala. Which means the farad, faqra'u, the amr, which says that you must read anything which is easy for you from the Quran. That means if you read any amount of Quran, any part from the Quran, within the salah, the farad, the miqdar of tilawah is complete. You say Allahu Akbar, and then you say, for example, any verse like إِنَّكَ لَعَلَىٰ خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ. That verse made you a Muslim. And you learn that one verse in Arabic. You said, إِنَّكَ لَعَلَىٰ خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ, and then ruku. Have you completed ma tayassara min al-Quran? You say, yes, you have completed ma tayassara min al-Quran. Because why? Anything you can recite, you've done. So you've done the farad. Yes? Yes? وَمِنْ ضَرُورَتِهِ. Because of ma being am, it necessitates adamu tawaqquf al-jawazi ala qira'at al-Fatiha. This necessitates that the salah being permissible or sahih does not depend, tawaqquf depend upon reading Surah Fatiha. Because if you say Surah Fatiha is farad, if you say what? Surah Fatiha is farad, then the ma, read any part of the Quran, which is not any part, it has to be Surah Fatiha. We know takhsis. And the ma is am, but we say you have to do Surah Fatiha. Are you following? And the hadith comes, وَجَاءَ فِي الْخَبَرِ أَنَّهُ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ قال لا صلاة إلا بفاتحة الكتاب. There is no salah except Fatiha al-Kitab. We're not going to leave the hadith there like, or ignore the hadith, because what's the ruling? You do amal upon the khas or the am or the qat'i dalala. You don't leave the am qat'i dalala or the khas qat'i dalala because of a khabar wahid or because of a qiyas. But if you can do al-jam'u baynahuma, you can do amal upon both of them without changing the qat'i dalala and qat'i thubut. We do jama' between the two of them. So what we say here, فَأَمِلْنَا بِهِمَا, we'll do amal upon the hadith, or we'll also do amal upon the Quranic verse. على وجه, in a way لا يتغير به حكم الكتاب, in a way which does not change the ruling of the kitab. Not just the ruling, but even the ma, the qat'i dalala ma. What do we say here? بأن نحمل الخبر على نفي الكمال. We will say that when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said لا صلاة إلا بفاتحة الكتاب, it means no complete salah. And the word la mean complete is used many places. For example, like the kamal is like a known thing. Like for example, you have al-Muslim man salima al-Muslimun min lisanihi wa yadihi. So that alif lam means kamal, a true Muslim, complete Muslim. Then you also have, for example, Like, La salata lijari masjid illa fil masjid. If you're next to the masjid and you don't perform salah in the masjid, then it doesn't count. So we say here, the fuqaha have said, if you pray, it counts, but you are deprived of the completion of that salah. It's not perfect, it's very incomplete salah. Fahimd? Yes? So we're saying here, this is nafyul kamal. Hatta yakunu, therefore, we will say, mutlaqul qira'a is faradan bihukm al-kitab. Based on faqra'u ma tayassara min al-Quran, the farad miqdar is what? What's the farad miqdar? Anything, not even one ayah, but whatever comes as qira'ah, which is tayassar. Any part of the Quran which you can read is the farad miqdar. And then, what about the hadith? La salat illa bi fatihatil kitab wa qira'atul fatihati. Wa qira'atul fatihati wajibatan hukm al-khamari. And we say Surah Fatiha is wajib because of the hadith. So keep the arm, say that whatever is easy, what you can, is the farad miqdar. And then the hadith, that's wajib. So we do amal upon both of them. وفيه بحث طويل in the books of hadith and its ishkaj, but for now this is how we do it. This is one aspect. One masala can have many aspects of discussing it, from the hadith aspect, from the riwayah aspect, from the fiqh aspect, from the usool aspect. But this is how he mentioned it here. And I said, don't just think, oh, we've got the right answer here. All the fuqaha have really, really logical and reasonable and sound grounding for their method of istidlal. So this is saying the Hanafi istidlal, and one is even other ways of looking at other dalail as well, but it's one way of looking at it. Fahim? Example number 3. وَقُلْنَا كَذَلِكَ فِي قَوْلِهِ تَعَالَى. Similarly, another example, وَلَا تَأْكُلُوا مِمَّا لَمْ يُذْكَرِ اسْمُ اللَّهِ عَلَيْهِ. Do not eat from that, meaning those madhbuh animals. Ijma', we know it doesn't mean any name. You don't have to say Bismillah and pick an apple. It means here, slaughtered animals. So do not eat, i.e. from that meat, upon which the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not been taken. So if the animal, when it's been slaughtered, the name of Allah has not been taken. In this situation, you say what? La ta'kulu, you cannot eat it, i.e. is haram. Now, let's look at this here. If we have an animal, what do we have? We have an animal. When it was slaughtered, the name of Allah was not taken. When this animal was slaughtered, the name of Allah was not taken. There are only two possibilities why the name of Allah was not taken, or two scenarios. Number one is amidan. Intentionally, you never take the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Intentionally, you never take the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Second scenario is what? Nisyanan. What second scenario? Nisyanan, forgetfully. Right? So now, if we say, what is forgiven, like in normal, what has more leeway? Nisyan or amad? Nisyan, because nisyan is beyond your capacity. Remember that rule, it's ikhtiyari and ghayr ikhtiyari. Nisyan is not your capacity. If you mind wavers, or you can't concentrate, or it's beyond your capacity. La yukallifu Allah nafsan illa wus'aha. La tu'akhidna in nasina wa akhta'na. You made a mistake, you slip, it's not in your capacity. Now, if you say, okay, now let's go back up again. Sorry. I rehearsed that, we never worked out properly. Right? So if you say amidan, so the hadith says, if you don't take the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on purpose, you're a believer. Right? So you say, well, okay, amidan is excluded. If amidan is excluded, automatically has to be excluded then. Nisyan? No? What's more, what are you responsible for more? What has more responsibility? Amad or nisyan? Amad. So if you say amad is forgiven, if you don't take the name of Allah intentionally, say, I'm not taking the name of Allah, there's too many names to take. I'm doing like 100 animals an hour or a minute. There's too many chickens to cut out one. I'm thinking, forget that, I'm a Muslim anyways. Okay, you take out Ahmad. Then automatically what you go under the same ruling. Because Nisyan is lower. Yes, it's like you can't say, well, if you leave the name of Allah on purpose, it's forgiven, it's okay. But if you forget, then it's not counted. It doesn't make sense, does it? So then what goes away now? Nisyan. So then, La ta'kulu mimma lam yuzkar isma Allah alayhi. What's left? There's nothing left. Then the ayah is mansukh. The Sahaba never said ayah is mansukh. The ayah is still there. So if we leave out matruk tasmiyah amadan, automatically it has to be forgiven and overlooked as well. Nisyanan, and there's nothing left. The ayah becomes muhammad. The ayah has no mistake. The ayah is applied to anything. This is how the Ahnaf look at this verse. So look at it here. So we sing, أنه يوجب حرمة متروك التسمية أمدا. This verse necessitates that if you leave the name of Allah while slaughtering an animal intentionally, it has to become what? Haram. Why? Yes, but however, it comes in a hadith, أنه صلى الله عليه وسلم سئل عن متروك التسمية عامدا. That the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم was asked regarding an animal which was slaughtered without the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala intentionally. So the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم said, كلوه, eat it. فإن تسمية الله تعالى في قلب كل امرئ مسلم. Because you're a believer, the name of Allah is in your heart. So we say, well, this hadith may have some other meaning. The meaning can't be as it is. If not, then the Quranic verse is negated. And the Quranic verse is قطعي الثبوت. We know that has been said. And the dalala, لا تأكلوا مما لم يذكر اسم الله عليه. The dalala of this shows what we mentioned before. So, and this is the niyu thubut. And then the context, when it was it said. So they have to have another mahmil for this. Are you following me? Because if we take this as it is, then the ayah becomes, the قطعي الدلالة قطعي الثبوت verse becomes null and void. فلا يمكن التوفيق بينهما. You cannot join these two together. You cannot join these two together. How? Without taking this zahir meaning and the Quranic verse, because we have a contradiction. So which means that this has some other meaning. لأنه لو ثبت الحل بتركها عامدا. If we say that because of this hadith, that متروك التسمية عامدا is halal, no problem, not a problem, what will automatically happen? لثبت الحل بتركها ناسيا. And because if Ahmad is ma'foon anhu, Ahmad is excused, then automatically the one higher than that is what? Or lower in level, which is more excusable, is nisyanan. فَحِينَئِذٍ يَرْتَفِئُ حُكْمُ الْكِتَابِ. In this situation, the ruling of the kitab is left muhmal. It's like the kitab has no mistaq. What's the verse applying to? And then the verse not mansukh. We know that from the Sahaba and the Amal and the Tafsir and the Mufassirun and the Sahaba, they did amal on this hadith, this ayah. No one says mansukh. But if you do this, then automatically you make an ayah mansukh. You're going against the Am, which is qat'i dalala. فَيُتْرَكُ الْخَبَرِ. We do talk of the khabar, and some may have explained another ta'wil of the khabar. The khabar actually means this. Yeah, so we'll try to look at it, say, well, the Quran will come first because qat'i dalala, qat'i thubut, and we have to understand this verse in light of the hadith. Either we say, well, it's maybe mansukh, the ayah is mansukh, or the ayah meant something else, or it really meant this, other riwayah. We have to understand the hadith in light of the verse, because the verse is stronger. Why? Qat'iyu thubut and qat'iyu dalala. And this is khabar. And the khabar is one rawi, so maybe it's paraphrasing, riwayat bil ma'na, there's a story behind of it which we didn't get with it. Are you following? Yes? If all the Sahaba said this, and they accepted that this is it, if it's like a tawatur of amalan, we say, okay, the ayah is mansukh now, because it's also qat'iyu thubut, that the amal of the Sahaba saying that amad is jaiz, but is all the Sahaba saying no, amad not jaiz, and the fatawa of Sahaba and tabi'un. So based on this, we say no, this is it. It's not something the khabar, it's khabar and amal of Sahaba, but it's not as such. So therefore, that's why we say this hadith is matruk. Example number 4. The Prophet, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَكَذَلِكَ قَوْلُهُ تَعَالَى وَأُمَّهَاتُكُمُ اللَّاتِي أَرْضَعْنَكُمْ. And your mothers. What's the Quranic verse? The Quranic verse is what? I forgot to bring the Quranic verse. حُرِّمَتْ عَلَيْكُمْ أُمَّهَاتُكُمْ وَبَنَاتُكُمْ وَخَالَاتُكُمْ until the end. Okay? So what do we have there? What's haram upon you? Those mothers, allati arda'nakum. So any woman who has fed you. Any woman who has fed you. So an ummahat, remember it's jama'. The jama' mudhaf is am. So any mother, any lady who has fed you, she becomes your mother by rada'a, by suckling. The ayah is, because ummahat, yaqtadi bi umumihi, the ummahat being am, yaqtadi necessitates or demands or requires hurmata nikahil murdi'ah. It necessitates or requires that the murdi'ah's nikah becomes haram. Any woman who has fed you, what happens then? It becomes haram. Why? Because all of your mothers. Okay? وَقَدْ جَاءَ فِي الْخَبَرِ. وَقَدْ جَاءَ فِي الْخَبَرِ. It comes in a hadith. لا تحرم المصة ولا المصتان. If the baby sucks one time or two times. ولا الإملاجة ولا الإملاجتان. Or if the mother puts the breast in the baby's mouth once or twice, that doesn't make it haram. So now here, it says here that it seems to imply that what? If it's a little bit, it doesn't matter. So this is now doing what? Takhsis. Now not all your mothers, only those mothers who have fed you this amount of. So what will happen now? We will say, فَلَمْ يُمْكِنُ التَّوْفِيق. But there is a tawfiq. فَيُسَكُ الْخَبَرِ. So he's saying here, the ayah is am, the hadith is doing takhsis. We say no. We say, well, The hadith is Am, Quran is Am, we take the Am. And what this means is that sometimes, like, if you put the milk, it doesn't come out straight away, like a tap, you just turn it on, it comes off. So sometimes what would happen is, if you put it on the bosoms, and milk doesn't come out. Or, let's say for example, you don't have dummies. Baby is crying, mother's gone to the market, mother's sick, mother's away, and one of the neighbors, one of the aunties put the baby on, just for soothing. So he's saying, Massatu wal massatan doesn't matter. When the baby actually drinks it, that's when it counts. So we say this hadith is not referring to number. This hadith is trying to say, it's probably saying, that if you just put the baby on the bosoms, it doesn't make it haram. It has to do with milk. So the hadith is, the Quran refers to any mother, every single mother who breastfeeds, she becomes haram, and all the relationships of radha become established. And this hadith is not referring to the amount of, this is a kinaya, referring to, it can't just be putting it on the bosoms, and it's putting in the breast in the baby's mother, in the baby's mouth. What does it refer to? When you actually start to drink. So massan, masatan, it doesn't mean only one or two, you count the number of times it drinks. It means what is a kinaya referring to? Just putting it on doesn't matter. Just putting a baby onto the bosoms doesn't make it haram. What makes it haram? When the baby actually drinks, and is majal, he actually drinks and like it goes into his stomach. And that way we can do tatbiq between the Quran remains intact and the hadith remains intact. Here in Usool al-Shashi, he's saying the tarkul khabar. We say here is ta'wil al-khabar. Or hamlu al-khabar. Hamlu al-khabar ala ma'nan. La yubtilu al-'am. So we're interpreting the hadith in a way that does not negate the qat'i thubut and the qat'i dalal of the Quran. فهمت؟ Let's stop here inshallah. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika wa nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Bismillah. So let's have a look at here of Am and look at two types of Am. So we said, so Am means a term that refers to multiple members, correct? A term that refers to multiple members. So if nothing is exempted, we call this Amun ghayru makhsusin anhu. This is an Am from which nothing has been exempted. Correct? You got it? Yes. So Am ghayr makhsus anhu. Correct? G. Now, this is qat'i, meaning this will include all of its members. And nothing, if I say, well, write all the exercises, write all the sentences, you can't say, well, I remove this based on my ration. Except, no, when I said nothing has been removed, it's a Quranic verse, for example, it's a Quranic verse, it's an Am. And nothing is exempt from this. So then we say here, nothing has been removed. So now you can't just use small evidences to say, this is exempt, this is exempt, this is exempt, this is exempt. Because the Am is qat'i. Nothing has been removed, or nothing as a qat'iyu dalala nature has made this shrika. Do you understand? So you have the Am, which is ghayr makhsus. Okay? Then you have the Am, which is makhsusun anhu. We have an evidence to say that left hand side has been makhsus. Okay? Now when this happens, this Am is no longer as strong as it was before. Why? Because we know one member has been removed. So when one member has been removed, that removed member is called the makhsus. And the Am is called makhsusun anhu. Now we can say, well, the reason that left hand side has been exempted, the same reason occurs on the right hand side. I don't have evidence for it, I'm using my qiyas, following rational logic. That we said the left hand side doesn't have to be fulfilled, or that is exempt from the ruling. So this has the same exact shape, same size, same color. So maybe this is also exempt. Or why can we use qiyas? Because now we have a strong evidence. We have a qat'i evidence which is equal to the qat'i of the Am. Are you following? So if we have a makhsus anhu, which is being makhsus, and the makhsus is at the same level, so it's equal. Here you have qat'i Am. A qat'i Am is greater than a dhanni takhsis. Are you following? So a dhanni takhsis is not allowed to remove this. But in here you have a qat'i Am and then the same level of takhsis. Now this makes this weak. Qat'is now become weak. As a result, we now have leeway to say, well, this is not such a strong evidence of the we know that the Am is not meant the whole thing, every single member anyways. So therefore we say here, the makhsus is exempt. You follow? The makhsus is exempt. Sorry, this is exempt. So now we can use the qiyas and say, well, it makes sense. They have the same properties. And the ihtimal of takhsis remains. Are you following? Does this make any sense? بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم. So now we're moving on from the arm, which is لم يخص عنه شيء. So we mentioned if you have an arm, if nothing has been removed from the arm remains قطعي. Correct? If something has been removed from the arm becomes ظني, becomes مخصوص. Another arm مخصوص becomes ظني. Why? He's explaining the reason. What's the logic behind of this? There's only two possibilities. The thing that has been removed or the things that have been excluded from the arm, they're either ma'loom or غير ma'loom. So if I say, for example, write the exercises except one. There could be any one of them. So 1 to 10, you have to write any one of them. It doesn't have to be written. So it's number 1, قطعي الدلالة, that has to be written. It's number 2, قطعي الدلالة, that could be the exception. Number 3 could be the exception. Number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7, number 8, number 9, number 10, any could be the exception. So we don't know any of the afrad could be exempted. We don't know which fard is not included. So that means it's not قطعي الدلالة. If the مخصوص, the one member of the fard that you're exempted from the rule is what? Is ma'loom, is known. So we know, okay, he's exempted. But there's always what? A reason. Why has he been exempted? What's the illah? So you say, well, maybe the illah is found in here. Maybe the illah is found in here. Maybe the illah is found in there. Yes? Does everybody understand? So if you have a مخصوص, once you have مخصوص, the مخصوص is either غير معلوم or معلوم. There's no other option. And each of these cases, logically and rationally, you can see why it's not qat'i. So therefore, the conclusion is that anything, any arm, which is no longer غير مخصوص, becomes مخصوص. It's مخصوص عنه. What happens now? It becomes قطعي الدلالة. Is that clear to everybody? Based on this, he's saying here, وَأَمَّا الْعَامُ الَّذِي خُصَّ عَنْهُ الْبَعْضُ. As for that arm from which any particular member has been exempted, removed. As for the arm from which any specific member has been exempted. فَحُكْمُهُ أَنَّهُ يَجِبُ الْأَمَلُ بِهِ فِي الْبَاقِ. So he said, well, the remaining members, you do amal upon those. قطعا. But mal ihtimal. So let's say, for example, if I say, yes, okay, if I say, well, let me cut, I don't know. So let's say, for example, bring the box or bring the uppers. It's like, okay, there's 8 in here, 8 shares. I said, don't bring the 8th share. So now you do amal in the rest. Yes, you do amal in the baqi. Yes, but there's ihtimal. What's the ihtimal? That it's also possible that there's the illah in the 8th that goes to the 7th. And this could also be removed later on. This could also be removed. If the illah is that this is rotten, for example. So say, okay, these are rotten as well, so these are also exempted. There's ihtimal in the baqi. The illah, there may be illah. You following? Yes? It becomes dhanni dalala basically. Naqati dalala, dhanni dalala. You got it? Asha. فَإِذَا أَقَامَ الدَّلِيلُ. Is it أقام يبقى قامة? Huh? قامة, you got alif in it. Yeah, this is coming from a Word document. I think I got a lot of mistakes in it. فَإِذَا قَامَ الدَّلِيلُ عَلَى تَخْصِيصِ الْبَاقِ. If there's any dalil, now because it's the niyud dalala, do not need such a strong evidence. So qiyas and khabar wahid can be used to do takhsis of further takhsis. So the khabar wahid and qiyas can't break the qat'i dalala. When the qat'i dalala is broken in itself, then we can say, well, now these reasons and illah, now it's not such a strong evidence in its dalala anymore. So now weaker evidences can also takhsis furthermore. So إذا قام الدليل على تخصيص الباقي. When it's a dalil to do takhsis of the remainder, يجوز تخصيصه بخبر الواحد أو القياس إلى أن يبقى الثلاث. However, what does am mean? It's not a fard, is it? So am is like a jama'. So what's أقل الجمع? 3. If you do takhsis and you have like 2, the 2 is not am because am that's the muthanna. Can't be one member left because then it's not am anymore. Are you following? So we're saying here, you can do takhsis. How do you do takhsis? Initially, takhsis can only occur via qat'i dalala evidence. When you have qat'i dalala evidence to do takhsis, you can do further takhsis via what now? Khabar wahid or qiyas. Until when can you do takhsis? Until the am remains am. If the am then becomes like khas and there's no point, then what you're saying is that the am sigha is lagh. So the am has to remain am, which is what? The minimum of 3. فهمت؟ وبعد ذلك لا يجوز. After 3, you can't do تخصيص furthermore. Yes? فيجب العمل به. You have to do amal upon at least the minimum amount of afraid which causes the arm. If the arm wouldn't be arm, then the sayqa we're doing like nasq of the Quranic verse. You following? Ajab. Based on this we have وإنما جاز ذلك. Why is it permissible? لأن المخصص إذا الذي أخرج البعض عن الجملة. Because the مخصص لأن المخصص الذي أخرج البعض عن الجملة. When the مخصص, 1 minute. The مخصص, the person who's taken out, who's doing تخصيص from the عام. الذي أخرج البعض عن الجملة. When he removes some from the jumla, jumla means the whole. So when you remove some from the whole, then it's a chart again. It's either known or unknown. If it's unknown, then it's a possibility. If it's known, it's a possibility. So that chart I summarized, explain that here now. Because the mukhassis, the person who's doing takhsis from the am, is only 2 possible possibilities. He's doing takhsis of something from the kull, from the jumla. So, لو أخرج بعض معلوم مجهولا. If it is takhsis of something unknown, لا يثبت الاحتمال في كل فرد معين. Then there's a possibility in every fard معين. That is this مخصص, is this مخصوص one? Is this a مخصوص one? Is this a مخصوص one? Yes? فجاز أن يكون باقيا تحت حكم العام وجاز أن يكون داخلا تحت دليل الخصوص. You following? So if you say, well, there's one مخصوص, but everybody has passed the exam except one person. Well, that's going to kill everybody, isn't it? Suspense. You following? So now what's going to happen? It's the new dalala. Did you pass? Possibly. Did you pass? Possibly. Did you pass? Possibly. You following? So جاز أن يكون باقيا تحت حكم العام. You are from those who have passed. You are from those who have passed. They are those from those who have passed. But it's also possible وجاز أن يكون داخل تحت دليل الخصوص. That he was the one who failed. He was the one who failed. He was the one who failed. Do you understand? So that's why if it's مخصوص is غير معين. If the مخصوص is غير معين, then what happens? Is قطعي دلالة. Is the new دلالة. فاستوى الطرفان في حق المعين. So that one particular we're talking about, in that, so regarding him, is he pass or fail? Don't know. It's both possibilities. Probability is hopefully pass, because 9 or 9 to 1, but still, it's the new dalala. Regarding you pass or fail, both possibilities. فإذا قام الدليل الشرعي على أنه من جملة ما دخل تحت الدليل الخصوص ترجح جانب تخصيصه. However, if there's a dalil shar'i, so we say, for example, we say you can eat everything, but then there's a dalil shar'i saying that this is the khas one, this is مخصوص, لأنه من جملة ما دخل تحت الدليل الخصوص. There's a dalil shar'i dalil saying no, this is under the khusus, this is مخصوص, not from the am. Then you can say, okay, the takhsis of that as well. Now, it's tarafan before dalil. After dalil, what happened now? G. You following? Yes, G. وإن كان المخصص أخرج بعضا معلوما عن الجملة. If the مخصص exempts one person from the jumla, if the مخصص exempts one person from the jumla, meaning from the kull, and it's what معلوم, جاز أن يكون معلولا بإلة موجودة في هذا الفرد المعين. It is possible, it is معلول بإلة. There is a reason that he's exempt or she's exempt or that fard is exempt. Yes? فإذا قام الدليل الشرعي على وجود تلك العلة. If there's a dalil شرعي to show that this illah is also found in the مخصوص and also something other than the مخصوص. The same illah is shared. Yes? ترجح جهة تخصيصه. Then it becomes preferable to say that this is also مخصوص. That this the evidence of the side or is طرفان, isn't it? So ترجح جهة تخصيصه. It's مخصص now. مع وجود الاحتمال that maybe it's not, maybe you got the illah wrong, maybe, but it's what you can do تخصيص by قياس. You follow it? So if you do تخصيص of a what? If you do تخصيص of a of a غير معلوم, then every is ترجح is equal until you get dalil shar'i. So it becomes what is the new dalala. If you have one is معلوم, then the مخصوص becomes معلوم, but the other members it's possible to have the illah as well. So it's also, that's why it means the new dalala. G. So we sing, before we sing here is like we have, so let's say for example we say here the 5 people, okay, and we said you are exempt. So we know he's مخصوص, yes? But then there might be a reason he's مخصوص. Now in the remaining 4, what are we going to think? Well, in the remaining 4, the illah is it found or not? So if you can, so now, when we say that illah is found in you as well. Now, regarding you, is 2 possibilities. Are you مخصوص or are you not مخصوص? Now the dalil shar'i comes, the qiyas dalil shar'i, that now tarajjaha jihatu taqsisihi. The side of you, the element of you being مخصوص is now rajih, preferable.
And the one before, dalil.
Yeah.
So what does that mean?
Now, yeah, now the dalil shar'i comes that this is مخصوص. So basically, when you have ma'lum or غير ma'lum, they both dhanni dalal, so you get a dalil. In a غير ma'lum, when you make one muta'ayyan, this is now takhsis, it's both illah. Do you understand? You got it? Okay. So that is he didn't give examples regarding the مخصوص, examples of that, but this is what we're saying here. Okay? So that's am. So in am, what do we say? Just like khas, am is what? قطعي دلالة. But if the am becomes مخصوص, it becomes ظني الدلالة. And when you make it ظني الدلالة, you can do further تخصيص as long as you have the am meaning remain. And am meaning remains as long as you have minimum of 3 fard. And the reason for that is because it's either the مخصوص, either معلوم or غير معلوم. If it's معلوم, it may be علة. If it's غير معلوم, every fard becomes under doubt that is مخصوص or not مخصوص. And when you appoint one, then now that becomes مخصوص. And then it goes to معلوم. Now you can say, well, what's علة? Because of this, the am مخصوص or am خص عنه البعض becomes what? ظني الدلالة. فهمت؟ سبحان الله وبحمده سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك ونشهد ان لا اله الا انت ونستغفرك ونتوب اليك.